Welcome to the crowd. My name is Sherwood Neese. Things in the online investment world were not quite as active last week as they were the week of March 15th. The Online Investment Index, which tracks the top 50 daily offerings, while up an outstanding 79.2% 2 weeks ago, taking it to an all-time high of 1,495, settled down last week 44.9% to end the week at an average of 671.6. That being said, last week's average is still above the trend line, showing more capital than expected is pouring into startups and small businesses. Now, much of this can be attributed to the fact that on March 15th, the new rules by the Securities and Exchange Commission went into effect that allow issuers to raise up to $5 million. The cap previously was $1 million. This has sparked a tremendous amount of interest by both issuers and investors. That week alone that the SEC changes went into effect, there were 3 issuers that raised the maximum of $5 million online. That's why we saw the index soar so much. To put a little perspective behind this, the week prior to the changes, the index averages were about 310. So the jump from that to 1,495 shows exactly how much capital poured in that week. So let's look at what happened last week. Well, last week there were 3 issuers that raised over $1 million in their online offerings. They were first Angel Studios. It's a movie studio that lets the crowd decide what gets made. They raised almost $3 million last week for a total of nearly $5 million from 4,682 investors. Next, we have Immersion, a Techstars company and virtual reality office space where you can work remotely with your teams virtually. They raised $1.9 million on WeFunder last week. Cumulatively, they have raised over $5.8 million from 2,037 investors. They're running what's known as a parallel 506C and a Reg CF offering that allows them to raise more than that $5 million cap in Reg CF alone. And finally, we have Linen. Linen is an app that allows people to invest in cryptocurrencies. Linen raised $1.2 million last week on Republic for a total of $2.1 million from over 2,100 investors. Interestingly, Coinbase Ventures and Polychain Capital are co-investors in this deal, signaling VC interest in this early stage company. What's interesting about all 3 of these is the fact that there's 3 different companies in 3 different industries. 2 of them are in the tech space, which is typically the domain of VCs, but one of them is actually raising money online despite having VCs as co-investors. So the theory that VCs might not want to invest in these deals is beginning to leave the room. Another interesting fact is one of them is showing how you can leverage the crowd to disrupt industries like entertainment that have been closely controlled. And finally, each of these issuers raised over $1 million during the week, which prior to the changes to the maximum amount would not have been allowed. But this proves that there are companies that are seeking more capital out there, and believe it or not, there's a supply of investors willing to meet them in that capital demand. So that's it for the week. I'm Sherwood Neese with Crowdfund Capital Advisors. Stay tuned. Next week, we've got our monthly rundown, and it's going to be an exciting one. Thanks. Bye.